you have heater blocks in here to keep this unit from freezing and from condensing when it gets cold. So those are basically self-run, they're on all the time, just to keep the unit. They've got thermostats on them, so you're not wasting power if it's warm outside. Any questions on it? No? Good?
Where's the disconnect for this? For these? No. The main.
Service garage, the main MDP, they're labeled block heater 1, block heater 2, block heater 3. And on the outside of these stainless doors, I got them labeled block heater 1, block heater 2, block heater 3.
Okay, so we'll walk over to the second panel and show you where the actual thermostat for the temperature is. If you do, just so you know, and if you do want to change that, you'll know where it's at.
You want to show them real quick that if power is out and they need to get in there to reprogram it, how to bring the lever down to energize it.
What's the material in the box?
So normally you're going to be closed. I assume even locked to keep the world out, right? So one of the things you've got with this unit on like this, you cannot open the door. It's got a mechanical lock on it. All right? For safety. So what you got to do is pull the disconnect, open the door, but your power's off now, so you can't program. In order to get the power on, you have to hold the safety down, put your disconnect in to energize your units. Now once energized like that, like I did, you can still leave that thing on when you close this back up. You don't have to turn it back off, and you're good to go. Again, just be very careful in there when you do that, because you have energized your electrical systems in there. Let me cover one other thing from a maintenance view, in case you guys get into this. Prop my door open again. Each of these outlets or relays has a small jumper on it. The purpose for the jumper is to protect the system while you're doing work. Right now the jumpers are all in because they haven't finished wiring up the receptacles. So what you would do is if you needed to do any electrical type work, turn your circuit breaker off, put your jumper in, do your work, turn your circuit breaker on, make sure the breaker holds. If the breaker holds, pull your jumper out. The reason you're doing that is if something happens, it's a real world, right? Something gets grounded or shorted or whatever, the little jumper will take the current and pop the circuit breaker. If that thing is out and you do that, then you burn up your relay. So it's a self-protection piece. So you'll put it in, you have the little tool. When you want to pull them, there's a little jumper. There'll be one of these inside of each cabinet. It's just a little crowbar where you can reach in here, pull this guy out. He looks like a car fuse, but he's a solid jumper. So he's not really a fuse, he just looks like it. Looks like it in the extent he is exactly the same size. So you could put a fuse in there, don't do that. Put these, they'll be laying in the bottom. Like I say, we're going to leave those in there for now until the electricians are finished putting all your wiring in and making sure your heaters are good.
I don't know if you want to leave these inside the units.
Would be one of the.
All right, we're good. Next panel.
What if a plug doesn't work? This is one of the plugs, right? And that's powering this, right?
Right.
Okay. How many of these? There's 72 of those.
Correct.
And this one's running 25 of them or something.
Yeah, 24.
So what if I plug that in, the bus in, and it doesn't work? Do I have to go in there and flip a?
That would be the thing. Would be to come in and make sure your circuit breaker hasn't popped.
Okay.
Right, because you've got you've got ground fault on all of these, and they are external. So if they get a little moisture in there, they may pop a circuit breaker.
So there's no trip on the actual plug.
Right.
Okay.
No, it is built into your breaker panel.
Okay.
Good question. We got other questions?
Spare parts and things. Or you
Good.
guys
Well, one of these. That's the installation guide.
Get a pan where we're at. All right, so this would be panel number 2. You still have a controller in here, but this is really meant for my installation type work, where I can program this unit on where it sets into the network, tell it that it's number 2, and tell it where it starts in the count. The unit's a little bit bigger. It has 32 relays in it. You'll never actually use this unit. You'll do all your programming from panel 1, which is that direction if you're keeping up with where we're at in the field. The main reason that we're showing you this is up in the corner here is your actual temperature sensor that's going to determine at what point do you turn on and off. And just to kind of show you, right now it's set for 45, but if I turn the temperature up where it would be warmer, we would actually kick our relays on and off. We left the other unit off, didn't we? Okay, so you would basically use this to be able to tune in for where you're at. We're setting you right now for 45. Panel number 1's power is off because panel 1 is your master controller. So if panel number 1 is off, these other units are not going to respond either. I show you what we were talking about though. Now that we've got the power on, if we turn the temperature up, you'll actually hear all the relays turn on. It's set now where it's going to turn them all on or all off. So I'm going to dial that guy back down. You heard them turn back off. I'm going to set them for 45 degrees. So if you want to adjust a little bit what temperature that's turning on and off, that's where you would set that. Most likely you'll probably never change it, but that would be the place. We'll close up panel 2 and give you a video shot into the last one being panel 3. So this is our third panel. This is the smallest one. This guy's got 16 in them. No other special controls. Again, you've got the deal to set them up, but you guys won't program through here. The only time you'd ever come into this guy is if you need to reset a circuit breaker. So I'm going to go ahead and close him. If you want to pan up just a little bit here, we'll talk just a second about the actual gray boxes that you'll see around. These guys are going to be labeled for which panel they're being powered from and which circuit breaker they're being powered from. There'll be 2 circuit breakers with 2 feeds, a cord on each side, so that you can actually plug 2 buses in. 72 of these things total scattered out throughout the parking lot. Any other questions out here in the field? If not, we'll head inside and show you where the main feeds are.
Okay, we're in the bus service garage at the main distribution panel. We need to unlock this panel to get into it. Steve has a set of keys. It's 150 amp breaker on this left hand side, it's labeled block heater 1. 150 amp on the right, labeled block heater 2. That was the one with the temperature sensor. And then block heater 3 is your smaller one, your 16 circuit one. It's block heater 3. So these 3 will control those. So if you have one panel out but the other 2 are working, that's a clear indication that one of these are probably tripped. But I wouldn't expect one of these to trip. There are some extra keys.